Hello everyone and welcome back to more Seduce Me to the Demon War when we are in the middle of Erik's route still, and in the last episode some shit went down. Major shit went down. So let me try to recall all of this in the right order because I know for sure I'm just gonna skip around and jump around from certain events that happened. So anyways, last episode we picked Shadow as our teacher to teach us in the ways of the dark magics and the shadows and the assassination and sneaking around and stuff. So we kind of had like one or two lessons from him where like we managed to immerse ourselves in the world of shadows where we can basically run around invisible to everyone else in like the actual world kind of thing. So we managed to do that, and then afterwards I forgot what happened, but we had more encounters with the little child spirit, and the child spirit was like, causing us trouble again. But like, I don't know what it's trying to do. It's such a confusing, it's a little anomaly kind of thing where it's like, what is up with this little thing? So it's like, it says it's trying to help us, or it wants to help us, and it's gonna offer us power, like special powers, because it can do that. But then we were like, no, we can't. Like, no, like, fuck you. We're not gonna like accept your help because, like, I don't know. Before that incident, though, is that the little orb disclosed the fact that the demon lord killed it and then like hurt it, but we don't know in what way, in what kind of like shape or form, whatever, other than the fact that it was murdered. And it's now in purgatory. So maybe it's from the demon lord's fault. I don't know. Not too sure, but yeah, that's what I assume. So we had instances where it tried to take over our body and tried to take over our movements and stuff. And Dana gave us a suggestion that maybe if we drain ourselves of energy each day, then it would have a less of a chance of it trying to control us. And so she suggested, give the rest of your energy to Erik after you train for the day and stuff like that, so that you have peaceful sleeps. But we're like, no, it's okay. I was being nice and I was trying to like befriend it or try to figure out what's wrong with it and how to help it. But then like it like gave us the hallucination that Erik was the demon lord with the very next morning, and we almost attacked Erik because of that. But then we realized, oh, it's just like a hallucination. It's not actually the demon lord that's here in the room. It's actually Erik, and it's all the spirit's fault. And yeah, and also Shadow was being a little bitch because he was like, I don't want to teach you anymore about shadow stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? So yeah, so that's happened afterwards. That's when the spirit offered us powers to help it fight the demon lord, but we're like, no, because I don't trust it. And so afterwards we kind of shut it down. And then Dana, after that day, I think she figured out how to expel the spirit from my body, and that is to do this whole like, I don't know, this whole thing where it's like she says to let it take over our body, and then once it does, she'll extract the spirit from our body, and then afterwards our soul, which is already in our body, will regain control of it. But then the only risk is that she may accidentally pull out our soul instead. So there was that. And then so we decided to do it anyways, and so we go into the sleep mode. We went into the dream and we found the spirit again, except the spirit this time was like still trying to convince us to let it help us and stuff, and making us self-doubt ourselves about everything, like if Erik loved us, or if we can even protect ourselves and shit like that. But then I was trying to be like civilized and like try to help it, try to understand it, and maybe like come to like some mutual agreement. But then it got mad at us or some shit like that. Or Erik came into our dream because he has that ability, and then he started fighting with it because the spirit was not cooperating, and so he was fighting, duking it out with it. And then afterwards I think he beat it, and then afterwards some shit happened. We came out of our sleep dream kind of thing, and it's been hours, even though it seems like a few moments. But yeah, so the spirit's gone now, finally. And then afterwards, everyone goes to rest because apparently this whole process took a long time. And so we went to go find Diana to thank her properly because she's done so much for us. And so we find her in this like little meadow kind of thing on like by this tree where like she probably has like her parents' grave, and like we found out that she was supposed to have a younger sister. And so yeah, she was telling us about all how the workings of the universe and like muses and higher beings and shit controlling their lives and controlling their choices that they make and stuff, and how they influence the choices and making suggestions and shit. And that's how she was saying how like, oh, because of that time, how I was obsessed with finding the boys when they ran away to the human world, because she was supposed to marry James and in order to protect her kingdom, but since James and his brother ran away, and that means the marriage contract is nullified, and she's at risk of like having her kingdom destroyed and conquered by the demon lord, so she went after them. That's when we take to the story of the whole Seduce Me like first game. So yeah, she was basically saying like I was never really this way as a person because I always cared about other people, and I always want to try to help people, but then because of this muse or this suggestion thing, like I just like I made some pretty like wrong choices in my life, and it cost me a lot. So yeah, that's where we had a little heart-to-heart moment with Diana, and afterwards when we were finished that, we were like, yeah, Diana didn't want anyone to know about our conversation, so we're like, yeah, sure, no problem. So yeah, we came back to our room. We're exhausted because, we just went through an exorcism. And then, so yeah, we are back in the room after our heart-to-heart. So here we are. Yeah, and so let's continue. That's it. We haven't even, like, gotten around to even fighting the demon lord yet. And so much shit has happened, and I just want to go home already. So yeah, that's that. That arc is done. The spirit possession arc is done. And now we move on to the main arc, which is probably the demon lord, war. The final battle. So I finally reached my room and let my body fall onto the bed. I let out a sigh of utter pleasure as I felt the cloud-like bed cradle my body on its surface. I was beyond happy. Yes, I had no more spirits, no more possession, no more temptations of power and shit. To think this insanity had started with a spirit haunting my body was mind-blowing. How was that even possible? No one would ever believe that, but it happened to me of all people. Because apparently you have so much like holy magic energy, whatever the fuck. Then I was kidnapped and taken to the demon world by the demon lord, trapped here unless he or I died. Another crazy important event that managed to happen. This entire week had become a wild roller coaster of excitement that I would have never expected. Not so much excitement, more like bullshit. Still, there were joys to be found in adventures, and my curiosity thanked destiny for letting me experience it. Now all I wanted to do was to get home and marry the man I loved. It's just all the more reasons. Like, yes, I want to go home now. I've never appreciated my home like so much up until this point. As Erik finally entered the room at last, I smiled and sat up tiredly. Erik chuckled before sitting beside me and wrapping his arms around me.
Are you all right, princess?
I'm great. Like, super. Yeah, just tired. Yeah, just pretty much. We held each other, locked in silence and unable to say anything more. We let the situation we had just gone through sink in. We believed that we were going to be happy from now on together. I know. No more spirits cock-blocking us. All we could do in the moment was hold each other and listen to our synchronized heartbeats. As the thought of tomorrow danced in my head, I began to grow fearful. Was I ready to go into battle? Was Erik? Were any of us, for that matter? We were about to walk into the final clash of World War III. No. Would we survive? Would I live to remain with Erik and feel his embrace again? Tomorrow brought too many questions to think about, and I became frustrated and scared. Sleep, make love. In situation, you know what? Yeah, this is a good moment. I had resisted all the way up to this point because I find it really unnecessary, and we have the spirit situation going on. But now that we are free from its shackles, we're gonna make love. We're gonna make love. I mean, you just never know, right? You might die tomorrow, so why not? I needed to hold him and treat the night like it was our last. Exactly. Tomorrow was unpredictable, but tonight was guaranteed. Exactly. Get it on! Let's get it on. I ran my hands over his vest and looked up into Erik's eyes, see his mind in a loving gaze. He seemed to understand silently exactly what I wanted as he gently leaned in and kissed me. Yay, kiss me, you fool. My eyes naturally closed, feeling the warmth of his embrace, and completely engulfed me and drew me into a state of peace and comfort. The world around us vanished as I became lost in his arms. My fingers danced over each button on his shirt and released them as our kiss slowly deepened, revealing his bare chest and letting me feel the heat of his skin beneath my fingertips. His touches were gentle, sweet over my own clothes. Well, it's not like we haven't seen him shirtless anyway, so whatever. No new news here. The mutual need between us was as fluffy as a fairy tale, and with nothing to hold me back anymore, we would drift into a blissful euphoria in each other's arms before the battle for my freedom began. Alright. It was in moments like this where I felt Erik's unwavering devotion to make me feel pampered, pleasured, and all around blessed with his touches. Blessed! His kiss, his breath against my skin. So much blessed. Still, his intricate hold on me only escalated as the clothes between us were tossed away from us, leaving us bare and leaving me in a wanton state of mind in his hands. I was perfect putty for him to meld, and every caress over my skin was paradise. My body drowned in ecstasy as his fingers massaged over my skin, his kisses over my shoulders shooting little jolts of pleasures through my spine as our voices drifted to soft sighs and moans. I feel like I'm reading some sort of I don't know. I was his princess and he was going to serve me every bit of his love, hugging me to him from behind and ravishing me as if he knew exactly what I wished to feel. He was just that intuitive to my feelings. What was that one reading, dramatic reading that was done in an audio from the sky with this book called Rough and Ready or some shit like that? I feel like I'm reading that, except this is 10 times better. That part of me was one of many reasons why I loved him. Even as his touches became more heated and his grip on me tightened, I could only release moans upon blissful cries within his love. My fingers became laced in one of his hands as his other explored my every sweet spot on my body. Getting sexy. The ride became a misty haze of pleasure, my fingers on my free hand burying into his copper hair as his hold over my waist guided our lovemaking. The grip we had on our entwined hands tightened with each pulse of pleasure that rushed through us. I just hope that this room is enchanted somehow so that we're not too loud. Soundproof. Our names became a repeatable chant echoing through the room as the air became filled with heat and the bittersweet smell of sweat. Any other sound between us became carnal and wordless. We knew exactly what to do and how to drive each other to our joint pinnacle of pleasure. As we peeked over it, the loud cries we released became the sweetest thing I have ever heard. Goddamn, burying itself into my memory. Cause this is the last time we'll ever fuck, because we might just die tomorrow. The afterglow was just as perfect, Erik's arms around my waist and his loving kisses over my cheek and neck. That was great. 10 out of 10. I love you, I will always love you. Erik smiled and nuzzled me before pulling me against his body, giving me his chest as a pillow to rest on. I gladly took it, nuzzling him and listening to the sound of his beautiful heartbeat pounding in his chest. His heartbeat pounded for me. I could hear the love beat in each pulse it made. A smile danced over my skin. It made a smile dance over my skin. I don't know how I read that. Jesus. I became confident and filled with determination, ready for the day to follow. Alright, tomorrow would decide everything. Yep. Just pay attention to battle, okay? Just be aware of your surroundings. Always jump. The day of the siege had finally dawned. We had arrived at the Demon Lord's castle and we were as ready as could be. Many armies bearing different banners and colors washed over the grounds before the castle, ready to rush in and lay waste to the Demon Lord and the remainder of his forces. All of us shared a common enemy, and upon his demise would all finally know some form of peace. Even during the roll call of the major generals, the air became full of determination and pride.
Mirth, avarice, nausea, Fiorna, Aradum.
Alright. Each name called became a mark on history. This was the war to bring freedom or destruction to the demon world. If the rebellion didn't win this fight, then this war would never end. If the rebellion won, then the world would become united in a hopefully peaceful rule. Democracy! The hour before the battle was set to take place, my thoughts instantly ran back to our final meeting in Lilith's castle. Diana had pulled the leaders and us together, instructing us on how exactly to proceed.
Zero, you will be joining Shadow and Sergeant in the front, taking care of the main army head-on. I expect that you will come out of it alive.
Yeah, yo.
Yes, my lady.
You best.
Rabbit, Faye, you are in charge of range attacks and defense. We cannot allow any of those blasted imps getting to us from behind.
Okay, cool.
Yes, ma'am!
Defense. As Diana looked to me, I grew slightly fearful. I had to get into the Demon Lord's castle, but how exactly did Diana plan on getting me there? Well, we got some shadow melt thing. I don't know. Right? We can sneak in.
You and your fiancé will take the side route straight to the castle.
Alright. So, wait, just us two? Alright, that'd be more tactful because less people, less noticeability. Wait, huh?
We've organized our army to have our strongest on the front lines and against the tree line, giving us a side route for you to make your way straight to the castle.
Alright, cool. Okay.
If anything trickles into the side route, you'll be able to handle it. However, there is something I must ask of you.
What? What is it?
If you are indeed attacked, you need to defend your fiancé the entire way there. Do not let him use his energy.
Oh, okay, so I'm like main man person who's gonna do all the fighting. Right, cool, alright, I'm cool with that.
Are you out of your mind?
No, I got this. This is gonna be fun. We got this.
When you
I
get
got
to the
this.
castle, I will be fighting one-on-one with the Demon Lord. If something should happen to me, then I need you to take over. She is not ready to fight him, and you need to be at full strength to finish him off.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But still, come on, homegirl, put more faith in me, yo. I stared, listening and reaffirming the order. I couldn't lie, I was nervous. However, I was determined enough to see this through. I looked over at my fiancé with a confident smile. We got this, bae. Team Bae. Team Erik, let's go. Let's do this. I got this, don't worry. Yeah, don't worry about it. Despite the worried look in his eyes, he nodded and held my hand, trusting me in my decision to agree with Diana's command. Diana rolled her shoulders and looked at the map draped over the war table between us all. Her gaze pierced into the parchment as the aura around her body pulsated in anger.
I will fly ahead and meet the Demon Lord head-on. No matter what happens, I will not allow that monster to live.
Alright, okay. You do that. You do you. The pure determination and anger in her voice practically sent a shiver down my spine. She was set on seeing this through to the end, and I was sure that she was willing to even die if it meant taking the Demon Lord with her. Yep. The remaining incubi and the wives were asked to stay behind the army and guard the main base, where Rabbit and Faye were stationed. They needed as many eyes as possible in the back of the castle, so the four couples were perfect to keep things in check. Alright! We get the more exciting mission, Erik. Isn't that fun? Isn't that great? We gotta go, like, Call of Duty Black Ops all up in this shit. As they agreed, the meeting ended and the mental preparation had begun. The idea of the upcoming battle scared me, sending waves of fear and worry up and down my body in response to the thought.
So, my warrior princess, are you ready?
Hell yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, I'm ready to fight. I want to say yes, but I'm scared. Well, I'm a little nervous, but I got this. I still got this. Erik gave me a comforting smile and gently leaned down and kissed my cheek, wrapping his arms around me softly.
I promise. I will protect you from anything that comes our way.
Girl, I'm supposed to be the one protecting you on the way to the castle, so you just sit back down, relax, have an iced tea, and just, relax, chill. I listened to him speak before nodding, taking a deep breath. Everything would be okay, we would be fine. I had to believe in myself and get us to the castle when the time was right. I know. Have some confidence. Oh my. Like a beacon, our forces became the banner of hope and strength for the rebellion. At the sight of Diana, many soldiers bowed or stared in awe and inspiration. Maybe it was her presence, or maybe it was for what she stood for, but as Diana stood at the cliffside of the mountain, the air became full of energy and power. Are you gonna give us a pep talk? Oh my god, gonna give us the pre-war pep talk? I can't wait. I wanna see what you got. My fiancée, Rabbit, Faye, and I stood behind her as Diana stood on the ledge of the cliffside, addressing the rebellion for their final battle. Her voice echoed across the field, booming and reverberating through the air like thunder.
Milites! Et hug liberati sturei tramcun tuis omnibus conversiris, sto vobiscum reducitic vos ad spem, nocte, lavabir mur, arcem, hostium sanguine!
Yeah, what she said! Took the words right out of my mouth. What did she say?
She said that she will help them gain their freedom, and she will stand with them as they fight this war.
Alright, cool. Basic stuff, is that all?
Well, she also said that the castle will be bathed in blood, but I don't believe she means it literally.
Oh no, she means business. Homegirl means business. If she says we're gonna bathe it in blood, we're gonna bathe it in blood. I nodded as I stared at the back of Diana's head. A part of me felt a little intimidated and jealous of the power she had. She really could make armies bow to her and obey her every whim. We gon' make this rain blood like it's on a period. Yeah! At the same time, I knew that she was doing the right thing for this world.
Ele Dio dominati sun nostri. Nos destruet, io mittere, profundissimum, inferni detractos.
Translate. Rabbit and Faye stepped forward and held their hands out towards the castle, focusing their energies and forcing the stone walls around it to crumble and dissolve down into the earth. Oh, so that's the wall. Oh, I didn't. Okay, I thought it was like part of the fixture. Whatever. Alright. I thought it was like a moat or something, part of the castle. But, you know, whatevs. Diana summoned her saber, letting it shine brilliantly as the purple taint over her skin began to twist and turn. Before my eyes, the taint on her back took shift, lifting off of Diana's skin and morphing into a set of demonic wings. I could only stare, jaw dropped, as Diana's body lifted off the ground and began to fly over the legions, slowly gliding towards the castle. Damn, that's neat. I wish I could do that.
To war! To battle!
Yeah, battle! At her final command, Diana's wings pulsated in the air, flapping gracefully as she swooped down and forward. She was charging and flying for the castle walls, saber bared and ready to spill blood. Alright, let's do this. As the armies below began to bellow and march forward, Rabbit took a hold of my shoulders and turned me away from the castle to face her. What?
Come, we must hurry.
Okay, cool. Let's go. Understanding the need for urgency, I nodded and rushed forward with the rest of the incubi towards the slope down the mountainside. Don't trip and fall now, that'd be very embarrassing.
Everything is in order. Sergeant Diana's guard are at the front lines, while Shadow is with his legion to the west.
Okay, cool.
Is our route clear?
Yeah.
We've done what we can to keep your way clear. We'll try to make sure the battle won't break through the path.
Okay. Alright. Awesome. I nodded, feeling the need to rush, nip at my heels, pushing me forward. My fiancé seemed to agree, gripping my hand and walking at my pace alongside of me. However, as we finally arrived at the forest line, Faye and Rabbit stopped, looking back at us. Why, what?
Straight through here. The sound of the war will always be on your right, so do not get lost.
Okay, cool. Alright, got it.
You'll be fine though, just follow the tree line.
Alright, awesome. Okay, bye, see ya. In sync, my fiancé and I nodded in acknowledgement before turning to see the other brothers and their wives. Alright, guys. Nobody die. Let's all make it back home for my wedding because I got an open bar and we all do shots when we get home, alright? So, this is it.
Remember your surroundings and protect each other.
Yep, got it.
Be careful, alright? Make sure you stay safe.
Kick his dead body a couple times for me, alright? Right in the head.
Alright, double tap. Got it.
We'll be right here rooting for you and watching your back, okay?
Cool. Alright.
We'll finish this and rush in as soon as we can, alright?
Yeah, I got
Make
this.
sure you kick some serious ass. Show that old goat what he gets for messing with you.
Right, you got it, Norin.
We'll win this. We know we can.
Yes, believe. Hashtag
You
believe.
can do this. We'll see you soon, okay?
Yep, I'll see you soon. We're gonna do some shots afterwards, alright? Let's all get, like, silly drunk. I smiled despite the nerves running through my body. I held onto my fiancé's hand and gave it a hard squeeze before receiving one back in kind. We'll finish this and then we'll go home. And then we're gonna do some shots, alright? The group nodded before I slowly turned and looked into the tree line, took a breath and rushed forward. Matching my speed, my love followed, weaving through the trees behind me to not lose sight of me. Ninja run Naruto up in the shit. Jump from tree to tree. The journey became simple with us running through the trees. The sound of the war echoed beside us outside the tree line, causing me to cover my ears a bit from the volume, but I shook my head and pressed forward, not wanting to become distracted. No time for covering your ears, girl. You just gotta run. The goal was to get to the castle. I had to focus. Exactly. Just keep running. I had no time for anything else. We made our way through the thick of the forest, dodging each tree and root we came across. I could tell that something was ahead, causing me to grit my teeth and attempted to weed through whatever was there. As I expected, we were rushing near a group of imps who were about to jump into the war fray from the side as a surprise attack, making me smirk. They were distracted enough to not notice us. Yes! Oh yeah! Let's go! I quickly took my sword from my scabbard and swung hard at the group of demons ahead of me, cleaving through the back of their necks. Sweet. They couldn't even let out a scream as their voices became bubbly with blood. As they fell, I continued forward, gripping my sword and preparing in case we ran across another group. My incubus kept up the pace, understanding what I had done, but a little surprised at my skill. See, I got this! I totally got this! You need to put more faith in me! We continued to run forward, heading straight into another group of imps, and rushed past them, dropping my sword and slashing through the back of their legs, letting them fall forward in synchronizing pain. Ew, that's gross. Yeah. The imps fell as the others ahead of them turned and became shell-shocked at the sight. It must have been a surprise to see a human cut down a group all at once, but I wasn't so friendly and merciful, especially in this war, as I lunged forward again and swung my sword into the air. Yep, no time to think. I became precise with my attacks, cutting down as many as I could in as little attacks as I made. There were a couple of close calls, but training with mirth had kept me on my toes, ready for anything. My incubus, despite probably being surprised at my carnage, followed as I continued forward, fighting through every imp that came in our way. I had lost count of how many crossed me, but I didn't care. Yeah, all I cared about was getting to the castle. By the time we reached the end of the forest, there were a slew of dead bodies behind me. I stood at the tree line, panting and feeling waves of adrenaline and lack of energy run through my veins. Girl, you can't get tired now! I panted for air, slowly focusing on calming down as my energy quickly depleted from its adrenaline-filled high. I had to drop my sword, unable to hold it any longer. Should have picked a lighter sword. Just saying. That was all I could do before my energy was expended and a wave of exhaustion rolled through my body. Yeah. Well, you did a good job anyways. You lasted this long. I began to fall forward, exhausted. My fiancé, however, quickly rushed forward and caught me in his arms.
Whoa! Princess, are you okay?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not as fit as I thought I would be. My stamina is pretty shit. Why? Huh? Whoa. I looked up to see Erik staring down at me with a deeply concerned gaze. We were safe for the moment, so I merely smiled up at him with a nod. I'm fine. I promise to protect you like you protect me. Erik let out a small laugh, kissing my forehead and hugging me to him.
You spoil me so much, my love.
Yeah, just give me a moment. Jesus, it's just so hard to swing a sword that size around, you know? I hugged back, feeling relieved that we had finally arrived at the castle and were about to rush inside. As we slowly pulled away, Erik lifted me up and held me to my feet.
Will you be alright?
I'll be good, yeah. I think I'm okay. I nodded, shaking off the exhaustion from my mind. I was ready to end this. I looked up at the castle gates and felt a rush of determination run through me. Let's go finish this. Yeah, let's do this. With that, Erik and I rushed forward into the castle. The final battle had begun. Alright, bitches. Where you at? Erik and I rushed into the castle and into the main hall where we could hear Diana and the Demon Lord clashing swords. Oh wow, you already made it there, girl. Oh, well, she did say she's gonna head straight to him. Like, no big deal.
I will tear you to shreds!
Okay, she's really mad. Jesus. As we finally entered the space where the battle was happening, we stopped at the doorway, spotting Diana slamming her saber over and over onto the Demon Lord's sword, which was held over his head like a shield. From the look of it, the Demon Lord was severely wounded and was trying to hold out against Diana's barrage of blows. Diana wasn't looking too well herself, but she seemed to have the upper hand. Good girl! Yeah, you go girl! You fight him! Kick his ass! What was scary was that Diana's face was completely smeared with blood, intensifying the frightening look of rage and anger in her eyes. Every swing was reckless, powerfully thrown to eventually hack into the Demon Lord. To her displeasure, the Demon Lord was able to block each time. Erik and I slowly stepped in, watching as Diana continued to beat steel to steel in an angry rage, trying to find an opening and becoming more enraged with each block the Demon Lord pulled. Slowly, his body began to glow, pulsing with red energy. Girl, you need to calm your shit down and just figure this out tactfully. And why are we even stepping into this like whole entire arena anyways? We should just be hidden for like the time being, and then when the time is right, we go for a surprise attack.
Enough!
Alright. Oh. With a blast of red lightning, Diana was sent flying back, slamming against a pillar and falling to the ground with a thud. Hey, I thought this is a no magics duel. Oh god, girl, you okay? Diana! Oh my god, Hannah, you dumb shit! The Demon Lord seemed to ignore my shot as he stood and began to walk over towards Diana's fallen body. Diana tried to press up onto her hand, stumbling and buckling a bit before she glared at the Demon Lord while he approached. Okay, so he's totally completely ignoring me. Alright, cool.
I should have waited until you came back, so I could have killed all of you in one fell swoop.
Well, you did it, because you were dumb. Diana's glare intensified as large black and purple flames engulfed her body from the rage that ignited within her.
You bastard!
Okay. Yeah. Pouncing off the ground, Diana formed a new saber in her hand and flew at the Demon Lord, swinging it to slice his throat open. However, the Demon Lord parried, locking steel once more with her and leading in with a hard glare of his own.
How does it feel to be the only one left alive in your family? Not even your unborn sister survived!
Wow, you're just trying to make her angry, and I think it might be working. I don't know if it's to your advantage or to her advantage. Diana snarled as she slammed her feet into the Demon Lord's chest, forcing him back and causing her to catch herself on her wings, remaining in the air. The voice that erupted from Diana's mouth sent shivers down my spine.
You don't even deserve the mercy of death!
Yeah, no. Erik instinctively placed an arm in front of me, staying put and watching intently. Both of us were sure that Diana possibly had this, but we didn't want to get in the way of her rage if she was full out going berserk. Wait. Yeah, let's just stand here. The Demon Lord let out a laugh before pointing his hand at Diana, summoning a large bolt of red lightning to shoot out and slam into Diana. Luckily, Diana had placed her sword between them and blocked the lightning from hitting her skin. Still, she was slammed back into the pillar she hit before and held there against a stream of heavy red lightning.
You're losing your power, Succubus! Just like your weak parent!
Okay. Alright, with a tearful scream, Diana began to push back, shaking and gritting her teeth. The wounds on her body began to bleed profusely, but she eventually sent a wave of purple flame-like energy into her sword and letting it climb up the lightning bolt into the Demon Lord's hand. Nice. Nice one. The Demon Lord quickly pulled his hand away, revealing a sizzling and burning aura around his palm and fingers. Diana, weakened, fell to her knees, exhausted but not out yet. Her eyes still bored into her enemy, not ready to give up. Oh, alright. I felt myself glare hard at the Demon Lord. He was a monster that needed to be stopped. Erik, feeling my anger, stepped forward and began to summon his ethereal tendrils behind his back and around his form. Alright, tag team, let's do this.
Guess it's time to step in.
Yeah, go for it. Do it. I watched as Erik rushed forward and planted his feet beside Diana, reeling his hands back and punching them forward. As he did, a crown of tendrils shot up from the ground around his body and flew at the Demon Lord like a spray of arrows. Hey, it's now a tag team battle. Haha. The Demon Lord glared and sliced each attack out of the way, panting from exhaustion but not ready to surrender. As he sliced through the last one, he sneered at his second son, gritting his teeth.
You!
Hello, father. Erik smirked, licking his lips slightly.
Did you miss me, father?
As he finished his sentence, Erik formed another round of spikes behind him and shot them towards his father, glaring as he blocked and knocked away each one again with his sword. The Demon Lord let out a dark chuckle.
Like I would miss little insect traitors like you.
Meh. The Demon Lord let out a howl before slamming his giant sword into the floor, causing the ground to quake and a large crack to cut through the marble and charge at Erik's position. Uh-oh. Erik jumped into the air and landed beside the broken earth, sending out another volley of spikes. Luckily, one ran into the Demon Lord's shoulder, causing him to shout in pain. Yeah! You go, babe! Good job!
Losing your touch, aren't you?
The Demon Lord snarled before ripping the spike out from his body, letting the wound bleed openly before rushing at his son with his sword held high. However, Diana swooped in and slammed her saber into the path of his sword, forming a deadlock.
I'm not finished with you!
Okay, girl, okay, let's step back for a bit, Erik. She's kind of mad. Diana and the Demon Lord pushed against each other, eventually jumping away from each other in aggravation. As Diana landed beside Erik, he stepped in and pointed his hands to the ground, where his tendrils burrowed through the marble and jutted out like a spike trap. I'm just sitting here enjoying the show, aren't I? The Demon Lord was quick to react, rushing back before the spikes impaled him from below and glared. This match had become an unfair fight for him, but in our case, it was needed to finish him off at last. Yeah, I don't care about fighting fair at this point. Like, fuck this guy.
Just as cocky as your mother! Wonder she was my least favorite.
I don't give a shit. Erik suddenly grew a dark face, the tendrils in his body glowing in a red, misty aura. Something snapped in Erik's emotions, and the Demon Lord triggered it. Uh-oh.
Don't worry. I'll send you to a place where you'll never have to see her again.
Yeah, what he said. Erik and the Demon Lord then simultaneously rushed forward at each other, with the Demon Lord raising his sword high and Erik moving his tendrils to wrap around his blade. Erik and the Demon Lord went into a deadlock, with the Demon Lord trying to cut through the hold his tendrils had on his sword. Erik, however, formed more free tendrils and shot them up at the demon lord from below, causing his father to release his sword and jump back, now unarmed. Erik smirked as his tendrils snapped the sword in half with insane ease and tossed the two halves to the side to be forgotten. Nice! I watched in anxiousness, hoping this battle would end soon. It was 2 against 1. The demon lord wasn't going to win. I, however, kept my distance and made sure he wouldn't attack me instead. I had no energy left to fight. Watch him do exactly that. He's just gonna grab me from the side and be like, alright, hostage situation. Taking in what Erik had done to his weapon, the demon lord snarled.
I can beat you even without my sword. Remember who raised you, boy.
Alright. Hand-to-hand combat, I guess. Erik let out a large bark of laugh as his tendrils sharpened into spikes once again.
I'm afraid you're mistaken. My mother raised me. You were too busy doting on your favorite son to care about me or the others.
Right. That is true. The demon lord growled, his fist becoming engulfed in red bolts of lightning.
I created you! You owe your very existence to me.
Well, you're a half of the team project, you know. Not full credit.
I owe you nothing!
The demon lord only laughed before suddenly gasping from pain. I had barely seen what had happened, but as I stared at the demon lord, I gasped at the sight. Why? What happened? I missed it. I blinked. Protruding from the demon lord's chest were a spray of red spikes dripping with his blood. I could barely keep staring as he turned and looked to us in shock. Damn! Yeah, don't look at me. I didn't even know what the hell happened. I looked over to Erik to see him pointing at the wall behind the demon lord, where a collection of spikes jutted through a black void into the demon lord's back, effectively skewering him. Nice! Kudos!
You never paid attention. You were blinded by pride, and that will be your downfall.
Well, is he dead now? Because I'm pretty sure he should be dead by that.
No! He's mine!
Diana, don't get so greedy! God damn it! This is a team effort, alright? You can lop off his head at this point. Go ahead. It's all yours. It's all yours. Erik quickly pulled back his tendrils from his father's body, causing the demon lord to fall forward from the pain and momentum. Diana, however, swooped at the demon lord and whammed her saber into his chest, a garbled gas escaping his throat. Alright, there you go. There, final finishing blow. All yours. Oh, wow. That's gross. Without hesitating, Diana pulled her sword out and stabbed him once again, driving her blade all the way through him to the hilt and snarling into his face.
Those were for my parents.
Okay. A third stab directly through the heart. Oh gosh, this is like overkill now, but I don't care.
For my sister!
Alright. Diana finally pulled her sword out and rammed the pommel into the side of his head, pushing him down to the ground in a lifeless thud. He was dead by now, eyes glazed over in death's cold, breathless embrace. However, Diana didn't care. Well, she's double tapping for me, so that means like I don't have to do all the dirty work. Alright, Diana quickly straddles his waist, bringing up her saber and using her magic to shorten to a dagger in her hands above her head.
And for every life you took from this world!
Okay, girl. Maddened, Diana began to violently slam and pepper stabs into the demon lord's chest. Erik rushed over and wrapped his arms around me, covering me from the sight, but he was unable to block the sound of Diana's sob-filled screams with each stab. Yeah, that's kind of gross, girl. I became a bit frightened at Diana and how she was releasing her anger. However, it was entirely justified. He had taken everything from her and had caused worldwide chaos. It was only natural to demand revenge even after death. This was her last stand with him, and she had dominated his very corpse with her blade, uncaring for the lost spirit no longer within it. Okay, girl, I think that's enough. It went on for far too long, to the point where Erik had to let me go and walked forward, pulling Diana off of him. She began to flail, dropping her knife and letting it fade as it hit the ground into nothing.
No! Let go!
Girl, she's dead. Girl, he dead.
Diana!
Yeah. Erik pulled Diana to her feet and gripped her shoulders, shaking her and glaring into her eyes.
Enough!
Yeah, he's as good as dead. I mean, I don't even know how the hell he looks like anymore. Diana's eyes were bloodshot, desperate to striking the dead body, but filled with emotion and broken inhibition. As she finally took in Erik's words, she shut her eyes and dropped to her knees, releasing a wave of sobs and cries. Yeah, just cry it out now. It's alright. It's all good. I walked over to Erik's side, pitying Diana. She must have seen so much death. This was her solace and chance to let go. To know her family was gone because of him wrenched pain into my heart, but I knew that it was finally over. They were avenged, and so were the many people who died under his hand. The demon lord was dead at last. Or is he? I don't know. Plot twist. I felt a weight lift off my heart and spirit, proving to me that the curse was broken and that the chain that bound me to the abyssal plane was gone. I could go home. Freedom! Yay! Praise the sun! I hugged Eric's arm to me, finally letting out the sigh I was holding in relief of the situation. Eric smiled and kissed my head.
It's over now.
Yay. Yeah, we can go home now. Yay. Oh my god. Take me home. A wave of joy rushed through my body, happy to know that I was free to go home. I began to become overjoyed with the idea of returning, walking across the aisle, and marrying Erik before returning to my normal life. Life in the demon world was an adventure, but it was time to finish this and leave. And never look back. I smiled to Erik before kneeling down and placing a hand on Diana's shoulder as she cried, causing her to look up at me. I could only smile at her, try to relieve some of the heartache and burden she was releasing. It's over, Diana. We won. You did it, homegirl. I'm so proud of you. A small breath of silence ran through the air before Diana wiped the tears from her eyes and nodded, still shaky from the experience.
It's over.
Yep, it's over. I nodded and gently helped Diana stand before taking Eric's hand and walking towards the entrance of the hall. Diana, however, turned back to look at the demon lord's body, stopping us in our tracks. Why, you wanna burn it? Like, by all means. I don't really care. Just to be safe, you know. Just in case.
Was this all worth it? I lost my family because of him. There was so much bloodshed.
Well, it wouldn't do us good to keep him alive anyway, so I think the world can do without him. You did the world a favor. Diana tightened her fist at her side, gritting her teeth and shutting her eyes.
I didn't get to say goodbye to my family. My sister.
I know, but it's, you know, life doesn't work out the way you want it to. I felt another wave of empathy run through my body at her words. She wasn't really alone though. She had Zero. He was truly everything she had left in the world, and he was more than willing to walk through it with her. I know, right? He is like loyal bae. It was alright, so I reached out to take her shoulder. Diana looked over, seeing the comfort in my eyes despite her broken gaze. It was all alright, yeah. I like read that too fast. Before I could speak, however, a familiar purple light glowed from the demon lord's body, catching our eyes and causing us all to look over in shock. What was happening? We should have burned it while we had the chance. See, I told you, plot twist. Oh my god. What the? I didn't even know. Oh, what? Hey you, it's you! Wait, what the fuck? Before our eyes, a faint purple orb slowly appeared and bobbed up and down in the air, looking at us. The orb that had haunted me and was expelled from me floated over the dead body of the demon lord as if it had been there the entire time. Has it? Really? No way. You? The orb moved in circle about the demon lord's body, letting the faint trace trail behind it temporarily draw a circle in the air. As it returned to its spot, it released a pulse of light. The light slowly drifted towards Diana, impacting her chest and making her glow a bit before the light faded away. Confused, Diana stared at the spirit, trying to figure out what it had done to her. Was it an attack? I have no idea. Slowly, Diana became wide-eyed at it in familiarity. With a shaky hand, Diana reached out towards the orb, lost emotion in her eyes as she kept her sights on the spirit.
Oh, Arabelle.
Is this your sister? No way. Oh well, I should have figured, because the spirit did kind of hinted at us at one point where she made us hug Diana, and when it was in control of our body, and she was like, Diana is special kind of thing. It's like, ah, hello. I stared at Diana in shock. It had a name? How did Diana know the spirit at all? It was like she was grasping at straws. How could Diana have known who it was? The orb floated forward, stopping in front of the demon lord's corpse as Diana took a step towards it.
Hi, Azair.
Oh, well then. I was wrong. Diana hit the nail on the head with its name and seemed to be acquainted with it. Wow. Diana took a couple more steps forward before dropping to her knees in the middle of the hall. I watched as tears began to stream down her face and her body began to quake. And she only just stopped crying. Oh no. The orb slowly floated over to Diana and hovered just within arm's reach of her. Diana's hands shakily lifted up past her chest and over her mouth.
Arabelle.
It's okay. It's okay, big sister.
There we go. Hey, myth confirmed. Big sister, Diana was her, yep. Hey, Diana suddenly let out a tearful gasp before reaching forward and taking the orb into her arms, somehow pulling the orb into a tight embrace. Wow, the orb seemed to shimmer in it. The orb seemed to shimmer in the hug it was in, but didn't seem to react in any other way. Diana, however, Diana, however, became a weeping mess, crying and shaking while holding Orabelle close.
Orabelle! Orabelle!
It's so funny because Orabelle sounds like orb. It's a little sphere of a spirit. Oh god, I'm ruining the moment. I couldn't believe that the spirit was Orabelle, Diana's sister. What kind of coincidence was that? How did Diana not know herself? How did Orabelle not tell me? It obviously knew Diana just from the way they were embracing. Just from how they were embracing, yeah. Still, the sight of Diana in mournful tears gripped to my heart. Diana lost her sister and suddenly was able to speak to her once more, even after Orabelle's death. It was as if Faith wanted to apologize for taking her family away. I almost became a crying mess myself. It was a very tearful reunion after a dramatic battle. I didn't know how to feel in the situation we were in. Diana didn't seem to care as she continued to cry and hold Orabelle. Erik wrapped an arm around me, comforting me as I wiped my eyes and tried to avoid weeping. Diana, however, didn't seem to care about the tears running down her face. Yeah, yo, she doesn't have a reason to. God damn.
This is the first time I've heard you cry, sister.
My god, it's an emotional kind of day, alright?
I'm sorry. I tried to save you, but
Oh.
It's okay. The Demon Lord did this to me.
And now he's dead, so all is good and well. It suddenly made sense. Orabelle was an unborn baby, so it wouldn't have known its name. The Demon Lord was the one who killed her, so the puzzle pieces were connecting perfectly. Alright, okay. Orabelle then phased out of Diana's hands, making the demoness gasp and look up at the orb. Orabelle, however, floated in place in front of Diana as she continued to speak.
The Demon Lord made me find the human.
Oh, yeah? Oh my gosh. What? Were you enslaved by the Demon Lord and that's what he made you do? Oh my god. Orabelle was working for the Demon Lord. She helped the imps bring me to the demon world? Yep.
Orabelle, you were in the human all along? Why not just tell me? Why?
She's probably gonna be like, I couldn't because the Demon Lord then would have like killed me or whatever the hell.
He made me. But now I have nowhere to go.
Yeah, I was close.
Oh, Orabelle.
Can you not move on now? You're free now, you spirit, Orabelle. Something in the air didn't seem right. Something about Orabelle became off, and I couldn't place my finger on it. The more I stared, the more concerned I became, and the heavier the nervousness in my gut grew. Why? What?
Isaiah, I love you so much. But
I'm going to have to kill you. Uh-oh. The air seemed to freeze and the room became still as Orabelle floated back towards the body of the Demon Lord. As Orabelle stopped, she began to glow a dark red and purple color. Uh-oh, there we go. Oh no, this is like phase 2 of the boss battle where it's like, this isn't even my final form. Fuck, man.
I can't forgive you.
Uh-oh, alright. Jesus, she's still as bitter as ever. Oops. All at once the orb flashed and vanished into thin air, only a misty gas present in the aftermath.
Orabelle!
What? What the fuck was that? We looked around, trying to pin down where she had gone, as the Demon Lord's hand suddenly lifted up and slammed into the ground. We shot our heads back at his corpse, seeing it began to animate. Oh, ew, gross. Ah! It's a zombie! Oh, the Demon Lord slammed his other hand to the ground and began to push himself up, curling his shoulders over and rising whatever strength he had and using whatever strength he had in getting on to his knees and eventually to his feet. His feet. Hi, welcome back. What? Jesus, I knew it. This was ending all too smoothly to be over. I was like, this cannot end. If it ended, I would have honestly been seriously disappointed. Ew, you look hella gross. The Demon Lord's body stood up and steadied itself on the ground on its 2 feet, heavy and void of life. What was happening? How could this be? I think Orabelle possessed the Demon Lord's corpse, and since it's such a salty, bitter little thing, it's gonna try to kill Diana still. As the Demon Lord's head lifted to look up at Diana, I gasped. His eyes were glossed over in a dark purple, almost black color. Blood continued to pour from the wounds of blood continued to pour from the wounds of the body, but the body continued to move as if it had a small breath of life. His mouth dropped and began to mold itself into forming words, dead and echoey, with Orabelle's voice seeping through. Yep, there we go.
You let him kill me. You let him kill mother and father.
Why are you so hateful? My god.
Orabelle!
Oh my god.
You let the human live and let us die. I can never forgive you.
Jesus Christ, that thing just hates the world, doesn't it? The voice of the Demon Lord and Orbel seemed to fuse in a dissonant harmony as the body slowly began to march towards the unmoving Diana. My mind screamed for her to move and run, but Diana didn't seem to be immobile at the oncoming danger. Diana, move! God damn it, move your fucking ass! She remained in place, shocked and frozen at what her sister had said and done. I can barely make out her hair and body shuddering in natural fear, but she wouldn't move at all. Grab Diana, call it. I'm gonna grab her. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna grab her. I didn't do nothing during this whole entire battle. There was no way I was going to let Orbel hurt her, sister or not. I rushed forward and grabbed Diana by the horns, pulling her back as fast as I could. Diana, I know this is all very shocking and like the situation kind of escalated really fast, but like seriously, girl. Diana gripped onto my hands, digging her nails into my skin, but I didn't care. I needed to bring her away from the incoming enemy. As I dragged her back, Orbel watched, unamused by my intrusion. I could only glare back. Despite Diana flailing in my hands, she wouldn't take her away. I wouldn't let her. I finally released Diana's horns and stepped forward, placing myself between the two sisters. Alright, girl. Alright, bitch. You and me. Let's go. Let's do this. I won't let you hurt her. Orbel bloomed towards us, filling me with dread. The stench of the Demon Lord's corpse became unbearable despite not being dead long. I still had no energy to fight, the realization making me step back from the undead Demon Lord.
You hurt me. Hurt me. Now I'll hurt you.
Girl. Seriously, girl, like, we could have been friends, alright? We could have been friends, we could have had a heart-to-heart moment, and I would have totally forgiven you if you not had, like, fucking made me hallucinate a whole bunch of shit and self-doubt myself, alright? Orbel picked up the Demon Lord's broken blade parts and slammed them together, fusing them back into one sword with her energy. How was that possible? She was a spirit. Well, she was a very angry spirit, alright? Orbel then started to charge at us, raising the sword barely over Erik's and my head. I prepared to defend myself. I became ready for the attack. But my vision became blocked by the back of Erik's head. What? No. Don't you dare. Fucking Christ, Erik! You didn't have to do that! Erik! Fucking Erik! Sticking out of Erik's back was the Demon Lord's blade. It was run through his chest towards me, barely inches away from my own chest. Erik impaled twitched as he stared down at the sword's blade. My heart began to cry and scream. This couldn't have been happening, no. Orbel quickly pulled the blade back out and sheathed it back into Erik's body, as if she wanted to be sure that she had killed him. I barely heard his last breath of life. What the shit is wrong with you? What? I became so absorbed in the sound of my scream that I couldn't register Orbel pull out the blade and stepping around Erik, running it through my neck. Wow. You hurt me now. I'll hurt you. That's how, wow, alright. So I have to befriend it. Or else it'll become a vengeful little thing. What the fuck is... what the piece of shit? Alright. You know what? Fuck you. Fine. You wanna do this? Fine. Okay. Since I think I've recorded, I think, an hour worth of this episode. This episode has been going on for like a long time anyways, but yeah. Oh my god, this bitch just stabbed me. Literally stabbed me. Like, who does it think it is? God damn. Okay, fine. Okay, yeah, like I said, wait. I'm so mad. I'm so mad. This little piece of shit just stabbed me and killed me. Oh my god. Okay, fine. Fine, whatever. Okay, so, like I said, this episode, I think, is long enough for it to be, like, yeah, it's considered one episode, because if I go on any longer, then it'll probably be around, like, 3 hours, and I don't really want that. So, I will save, the whole rendering the situation, like fixing it in the next episode, where we come back and hopefully I get us a better ending than that. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know, Like I can't, like I said, I can't trust this thing. I don't want to trust Orabelle or anything like that. But whatever. But since I guess now that we know the true identity of the orb, maybe then it. I don't know. I still don't trust it. I still don't trust it. So I don't know how I'm supposed to make this right. So I will figure this out in the next episode. Hopefully get us a better ending. So yeah. Ugh, so mad. So fucking mad. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next episode. Bye!